Hey guys, I'm Jessie, and today I thought I'd do something different. I've seen Realism challenge videos on YouTube before, where artists take an object and try to draw an image with the goal being to make the drawing look as identical to the real-life object as possible. I've even done one of these myself once. But I was thinking, why not try this with Photoshop? Why not find a photo on Pinterest or something and try to make a duplicate in Photoshop? It could be fun, trying to get textures, shadows, highlights, colors, to all look as close to identical as the original image as possible. That being said, I figured I could go easy on myself with my first attempt. I'll be recreating this photo. Now, even though I know I'm not actually recreating this person's work and that this is just a challenge in my Photoshop skills, I still felt like I should go ahead and try to find the artist who actually created the real-life version of this and give them credit. Unfortunately, and weirdly, I couldn't really find anything on the original creator. The most I could find is that the artist apparently goes by Smam, which you can see is the watermark on the photo. But when I googled it, literally the only thing I came close to finding was an artist from Sweden named Sara Woodrow. And the only work that she had that came close to the image that I could find was this piece here. Even a reverse image search didn't turn up any answers. So it looks like the original artist might forever be a mystery. But if you're out there and you know who made the paper cut in this image, feel free to link them in the comments so I can give them credit in the description box. Anyway, I think I've held you guys up long enough. Let's get on to this Realism challenge, Photoshop edition. To start off, I'll make a base using the rectangle shape tool and fill it with the color picked from the original image. Next, because I feel like the real test here will be getting the colors, textures, lighting, and shadows right, to save time I'm taking the original image and using it as a template for the parts I'll be cutting out. If you guys think that's somehow cheating, feel free to leave a comment below and I might consider doing it by eye next time. However, like I said, I feel comfortable doing it this way, at least for this time, because I feel like the real test lies in the textures. Now that I've got the leaf shapes cut out of the base, I'm going to control-click and paint the leaf shapes that will be standing up on a new layer. Gonna go ahead and invert the color on those two so that I can see what I'm doing as I distort each leaf to look like it's rising up into the air like the shapes on the original image on the left. Okay, done with that. It's probably safe to invert the colors back to what they were now. To make the shadows, I'm going to repeat the step I did to make the leaf shapes, but this time I'm going to fill it with black before cutting this layer in sections in order to work with each side independently. Now I'm distorting the shapes on the left side so that they appear to be shadows cast from the leaf shapes on the right side, before adding a layer mask so that these shadows don't extend past the leaf shapes. Now I'm adding an adjustment layer to change the color of the shadows from black to a warmer brown. Pretty sure I can duplicate this and use it on that other set of left side shadows. Speaking of which, these will be the shadows cast from the leaf shapes on the left side, and after I move them into position, like that, they'll just need to be smudged out a bit, which I will do with this layer mask. Maybe I need to smudge out the actual layer itself too. Yeah, that's working. Maybe distort that a little more and smudge a little more. I'm sure there was an easier way to do this where I didn't need to go back and forth between the layer and the layer mask, but this is what I've started and I'm going to stick with it. Now my leaf shapes could use a little touch up themselves. I'm going to paint a little on the inner edges with a speckled brush so that they look a little bit more like they could have been folded up from the paper. Good. I'm going to try adjusting the adjustment layers a bit before I move on. Okay, moving back to my base layer, I'm going to add a bevel and emboss layer style to it, as well as a drop shadow to give it some more depth. I'll be doing the same to the leaf shapes as well, only this time replacing the drop shadow for an inner shadow. Unfortunately, that now makes my shapes look outlined and I don't really want that. but maybe I can duplicate this layer and add a layer mask to hide the layer style effects from where I don't want them. Yeah, that's better. The drop shadow on the base could use some tweaking though. Now to blend those shadows on top in a bit better, as well as the more shadowed leaves on the right. Probably should work on these inner edges too, they're a bit too straight. Now the shadow on the right is making these darker leaves look funny, but maybe if I select them all and add a layer mask to that shadow layer, I can fix that. Yep, that works. And now I can paint them in where the shadow blends in a little past these leaves. Now that's too dark. Blend that away a bit. Let's add that stem. Just gonna paint a straight line and give it a kind of similar layer style as the base paper. Looks good enough for now, but I know I'll be revisiting it later. Actually, it looks a little too close to the top left leaf. I'm gonna move it. Alright now. I want to work on those left side shadows some more. Looks okay. I'll group this all together. I think I might actually be able to start working on the textures now. Layer mask wouldn't hurt. I'm just going to take some various speckled brushes and paint with them on several layers, varying the blending modes and opacities to build up the texture. Let's get some textures on those leaves, making another layer mask. These are pointed up a bit, so maybe if I squish my brush, I can fake the effect perspective would have on the texture. Actually, you know what? If I just copy the texture I painted for the base and squish that, it will have the same effect and will save me a lot of painting. Look at me using my brain and stuff. Probably should mask off that stem too. This isn't looking half bad. However, I know the color is pretty off on this shadow, so I'm going to take a break to adjust that before I continue with the texturing. And why is nothing happening? Oh, I'm painting on the wrong layer. Go me! Here's the layer I want. Now you can actually see what I'm painting. Let's take a break and play with these adjustment layers. Some colors are off. Okay, good enough for now. Back to texturing. It probably wouldn't hurt me to go ahead and merge some of my texture layers together right about now. I think that shadow needs some more adjusting too. I'm not done yet, but I wonder if I could make this a smart object and see how some blurring filters would look. I'm gonna try it. Let's throw a Gaussian blur on there, maybe a speckle, maybe sharpen edges. It's kind of not having the effect I want. Maybe if I work on the texture layers. If I add a motion blur to my texture, it could make it look more like paper fibers. I like that. Let's go back. My texture just looks a little too coarse. I'm gonna try breaking it up a little. I guess that's better. You know, this isn't working for me. Let's go back in time before I made this a smart object. I am going to go back in and apply that motion blur back into my texture though. I actually did like that decision. Merge. Okay, adding a motion blur. Paint some more texture in. What if I added a horizontal motion blur? Meh. I'm just gonna smudge this out and paint some more in. Nah. It's merge time. Excuse me while I mess around with my layers. The dark leaves aren't as fadey on the original. Better fix that. You know what? I haven't worked on that stem in a while either. It's a little too wide, maybe. Texture needs more work. Let's get on that. This shadow needs a little smudging to soften it up a bit. Couldn't hurt to tweak the colors here before I continue texturing. You know what also couldn't hurt? Merging my leaf layers. Now I can reshape them a little easier. Let's layer mask that shit and start making these leaves a little bit more imperfect like the original. Layer mask, does whatever a layer mask does. Gonna start working on some tiny details like the tiny shadows and highlights on the edges of the leaves and cutout shapes. Now to smudge all this out. All these shadows I added with the layer effects on the space are too dark in places. I can probably fix that with a layer mask. Actually, I better put this in a group and then layer mask it or else it won't do what I want. There, now they look closer to the original. Now I'm going to texture in some of these detailed shadows around the cutout bits. Now what? Maybe an adjustment layer? Yeah, that looks okay. I'll play with the texture on these leaves some more. Maybe a photo filter. Maybe not. It's been a while since I've worked on that stem again. I'm sorry, stem, I keep neglecting you. I'll add some texture. Time to adjust that shadow again. These leaves on the left need something. The color just isn't right. Maybe I can repurpose that failed photo filter. Make that green and apply a layer mask. Adjust it a little. There we go. Actually, these shadows on top need to be a little sharper. Good. And these other shadows could use their color adjusted. Alright, that's good for now. These leaves need adjusted. Some just aren't laying quite right. So I'm going to merge these and adjust. Ah, this is why the stem looked funny earlier. Now I can move it back. That's better. Now I can paint the texture some more. Blending it away. Now to add those dark flecks in the paper. Looking better. I need to adjust this leaf again. I should paint in those thin shadows on the cutout. Need to find the right brush. This works. Painting and blending, painting and blending. This leaf needs adjusted. Now why did I layer copy? I didn't want that. There. Actually, let's erase a bit of those shadows I just put in. Much better. Might as well touch up the edges of these darker leaves as well. They need to be a little bit more defined. More texture painting. Now this leaf needs adjusting again. And still not right. Okay, still not right. Maybe if I try the liquefy tool. Okay, close enough for now. I'm gonna paint on these edges a little bit more now, get some of that highlight and shadow action on. Now, obviously I'm not going to paint every tiny grain of detail in the original, but if I paint in some more prominent spots, like this one, I can trick the eye into thinking my recreation is even more identical to the original. This leaf here could use a little tweaking. Still not good enough. Time to liquefy again. Alright, better. Actually, maybe no. Let's go again. That's not what I want. Alright, here. Good enough. Merge time again. Cleaning up my layers palette. Let's try converting for smart filters again. We all know how well that went last time. Gonna add Gaussian blur, and I'm gonna do the same to my base layer as well. It's missing something. Maybe I should add some noise. Maybe. Let's try dust and scratches again. Seems to be working. Color over here on these shadow leaves isn't quite right. Maybe if I add some green from the photo filter. That worked well enough. Back to texturing. I think I need to work with this stem a little bit. This top leaf still isn't right. Let's see if I can fix it. I made it a smart object. Okay, I'll deal with it later. What can I work on in the meantime? Maybe some more little details. I know you can hardly see what I'm doing right now, but trust me, it's necessary. Okay, here's something you can actually see. I'm refining the edges on my lighter leaves so that they can match the original better. I suppose that's enough stalling for now. I'll go ahead and try and fix that top leaf since it looks like the third dark leaf from the top needs adjusted now too. Almost wish I had gotten it right before I made this layer a smart object, but oh well. I'll just pull the window out and work. And now I need to fix these details too. Go me! That top leaf still isn't right, is it? Nope, it's not. Let's try this again. Alright, looks like I finally got it. At least most of the way. Actually, never mind again. I need to fix the white bit behind it. And I've screwed up the top leaf again. Okay, this is the last time. I guess that's closer. Maybe if I paint in the tiny highlight here. Nope, not good enough. Need to fix this edge. Better. You know what? I need to fix the tip or it's going to bug me. But this is the last time. Okay, you know what? I lied. There's never going to be a last time. I will just keep adjusting this freaking tip until the end of time. Okay, I'm just gonna merge everything together. I think I'm at a point now where I can get away with merging everything and fixing the imperfections with paint. But just for shits and giggles, let's try converting it to a smart object again and apply some filters. I'll probably wind up undoing it again, but hey. And yep, don't like it, undoing it. Going to paint some more little details and textures again. I think I need to adjust the color on this shadow again. It needs to be warmer. Okay, now I've gone too far. Back off a little bit. And merge! I wonder if a photo filter could help this. A little bit. Now to add some more tiny details that you probably can't see me doing once I've sped this up. Oh yeah, for anyone who hasn't guessed yet, and I assume no one hasn't figured this out by this point, this video is sped up. Because right now you're looking at roughly 12 hours of work right at this point. And I'm still not quite done. Yeah, this crap takes a long time. And honestly, starting to rethink my life choices about now. Anyway, these top shadows look like they could use sharpened again. Very good. Actually, these shadows behind this are just a tad too dark. Should lighten that up a bit. I wonder if a photo filter could help this along too. Maybe if I tried a hue saturation layer instead? Nope. Maybe if I overlay a layer of brown to warm it. Actually, that one's not that bad. Maybe a photo filter clip mask to the brown? Nope. Scrapping it, going back in time to before I did all this. I'll mask some more away with another clipping mask. Why is my brush not working? I want to paint it back in, not take more out. Oh, I've got my brush set to multiply still. Dummy. That's better. That looks good. Only I think I made this one area a little too light, so let's darken that up a bit. Now even more tiny details that I doubt you can see, but trust me, I'm totally adding tiny white highlights and stuff right now. Merge that all in. Working on this top leaf now, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Going to add some more tiny invisible details. I think I'm almost getting to a point where I can say I'm done. I'm gonna start selectively blurring with the blur tool, because these edges need blurred to match the resolution of the original, but I think the texture looks okay and I don't want to over blur the whole thing. I will add a tiny dust and scratches filter though. Painting in some more tiny flecks now. And darkening the shadows on the cutout part. Merging that down. This just isn't quite perfect enough. Maybe if I paint some finer texture in. Mask it out from the white areas. I'll add a photo filter to warm it up a bit. Maybe not. But I do think it could use a brightness and contrast filter on the lighter leaves. You know what these leaves need tweak too? Time to liquefy. Cool. I think I'll burn these edges as well. Maybe I should try that photo filter again. If I add some more texture to those light leaves, maybe they'll look a little bit more like the original picture. I guess that worked. I think I need to liquefy those leaves again. I'm gonna blur some things now because resolution. And actually I'm gonna change this photo filter a bit to only hit certain spots. And I think I could call this finished. If you're keeping track, and I am, this is a little over 14 hours of work scaled down to, well, however long this video turns out to be. I'm hoping I can get it down to less than 30 minutes. What do you guys think? How close did I get? It's not perfect, but I think I came pretty close. Obviously, I'll always see things I could have gotten better, but how well does this fool your eyes? Go ahead and rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 how close you think I got. Let's take a break now and feature this piece from Iona, an artist from the United Kingdom. If you'd like to see more of her work, then check out her links in the description. Also, if you'd like a chance for your work to be featured in a future video, then just submit your art via social media. All my links are down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my first Realism Challenge, Photoshop edition. If you want, go ahead and try it for yourself. See if you can do it. For now, why not check out one of these videos to the left? Would be fun. And to keep from missing out on future videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing a giveaway when this channel reaches 500 subscribers. More info on that in the description. Again, thank you all for watching. Bye!